Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, page 142. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
This Shabbat Breshit, we begin the Torah anew, reading, two stories, in fact, of creation, culminating with that first pair of humans, Adam and Eve. And the rabbis, as they often do, add little details, fill in gaps, some of the questions we might wonder about from the Torah. And in particular, wondering about the end of that sixth day as the sun was setting. The rabbis imagine that, in fact, Adam and Eve got quite frightened. They'd only been alive for several hours, they'd only known light, and suddenly darkness was descending. The rabbis of the Talmud imagine, in fact, that they wept all night long until the sun started to rise again, and they were reassured, in fact, that everything would be okay. Our teacher, Elie Wiesel, teaches about that moment that God taught Adam an important secret of life, the ability to begin anew, to hold on to hope and to start again, even when darkness falls. So this Shabbat Breshit, we begin again as a people, reading our sacred stories, and each Shabbat we have a chance, whatever our week held, the joys, the triumphs, the despair, the fear, we acknowledge that the sun rises and the sun sets. We join together praising that cycle and the ability to begin again.
Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Speaking of sunrise, sunset, we have two young women who will be called to the Torah tomorrow morning as Benot Mitzvah. I want to invite up Alex Davidson and Sophie Chiravelli, along with their mothers, Kara and Michelle, to join us as we kindle these Shabbat lights. The blessings can be found on page 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We add a little sweetness to our Shabbat rising for Kiddush on page 123. If you are watching at home, we invite you to lift your glass as well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
That's how you know COVID's really over, because both girls are sipping from the cup. Mazel tov to you and to your families. You can take a seat. We look forward to celebrating with you tomorrow morning. We may all be seated as we warm up our voices with the melodies of our amazing Shir Chadash band. Kabbalat Shabbat begins on page 131.
It's 1:30. I made that mistake.
Oh.
It was close, though. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu nikadma, bana v'toda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu. Naria, letzor yishenu nikadma, bana v'toda. kocho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. 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 Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishtachavu lehar kocho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishtachavu lehar kocho.
Are you feeling warmed up?
Whew.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So we've welcomed and we imagine the angels that follow us home at the end of Friday as we prepare for Shabbat. And with the words on pages 138 and 139, we will officially welcome in the Sabbath bride, singing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And once we have welcomed her in, we'll pause and take a moment, as is our custom here afterwards, to greet and welcome one another as well. Page 138, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi li kenakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi li kenakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad hishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, 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 yes. It was beautiful. No, the whole thing. I was happy too. Yeah, no, it's the whole thing. I was New York side. I know.
So,
Yeah, no, no, she didn't ask because of your thing. Someone just gave me just that. Yes, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. You people are very talkative, which we appreciate. We appreciate. We remain standing as we segue seamlessly to the Baruch Hu on page 146, our call to worship. On the bottom of page 149, join me. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of life. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall we hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Atop page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, with all your strength, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, with all your strength. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and with all your strength. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and with all your strength. With all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, with all your strength. With all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, with all your strength. Love the Lord. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and with all your strength. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and with all your strength.
Rabbi Simcha Bunim asks, what did the Holy One create in making this world? And the Rebbe answers, beginnings. Every day, God creates a new beginning. How do we get to the other shore, the miracle on that other side of the sea? How do we make it through the waters, this choppy world of ours? By understanding that every day is a new beginning. Not just when you're going to become a bat mitzvah, because most of us are way past. Oh, no, hold on one sec. Oh, no.
He's excited.
Most of us are way past that. But it doesn't matter how young or old you are, every new tomorrow is a new beginning. And the first step towards redemption is understanding you can start again. On 158.
Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'er b'kodesh. No ratehi lo dosei pelech, no ratehi lo dosei pelech. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, ukei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli anu ve'amru, ze'eli anu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai.
On 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu
about to stand in a minute or so for the Amidah, really the core of our prayer, where we get to open up to the Holy One. The truth is, since prayer is a mirror, we should be looking at our own reflection. Anna Quindlen, in her short guide to a happy life, understands the true intent of prayer's purpose. She puts it pretty pithily, if that's a word, pithily. It is. She says, get a life. She continues, a life in which you pay attention to the baby as she scowls with concentration, trying to pick up a Cheerio. A life in which you notice the smell of salt water pushing itself on a breeze. A life in which you know you are not alone. A life in which you know that love is not leisure, it is work. Get a life in which you are generous. Look at the full moon, at the red-orange turning leaves, and realize life is glorious and that you have no business taking it for granted. So as we rise for the tefillah, think about what you need to do, even little adjustments to get a life. We rise.
Page 164.
That my mouth may declare your praise. Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Bezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav LeHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umido melech melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol, Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yhalelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
A couple of minutes for silent prayer and personal reflection through page 180.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Talmud Barachot teaches that in the Holy Ark there were two sets of tablets, as we might know, the whole tablets that Moses got second time around, and the shattered pieces of the first. Why save the shattered pieces of the first? Because without the breakage of life, without understanding how fragile life is, we can never know what it means to be whole. And so we rise together as a congregation, hoping for wholeness, praying for those who face the future not fully healed.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו, may the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We especially call to mind at this moment of prayer for healing Paul Millman, Nancy Hanley, Marlo Wiggins, Dick Stone, Harriet Lipton, Hannah Stampleman, Enid Elton, Jody Kahn, Stanley Tereski, Bob Glassman, Andy Rosenthal, Sandy Warshaw, Louis Siegel, June Foreman, Paul Wiggins, Joseph Spinelli, Harriet Katz, Sam Phillip, Pat Ryan, Jerry Gallner, Ian Spear, Julie Ross, Megan Kearney Bailey, Tevya Ben from Mahinka, Dan Zimmerman, my son Aaron, Tyler Grad, Karen Levine, Joanne Tobin, Evelyn Silberg, Jonathan Glassman, Shari Benny Shai, Renata Hirsch, Richard Spool, Marvin Weiss, Louise Coleman, Rose Feigenbaum, Abby Zatoun, Michael Schur, Renee Leopold, Ruth Barron, and Isaac Sadegurski. Will anyone here add a name in hopes of healing? And those at home as well. Amen. Please be seated.
So a little Shabbat pop quiz for everybody as we start Breshit again and the story of creation. As I said, really two stories of creation, but the first one better known, the 6 days culminating, of course, with the 7th of Shabbat. So how does it begin? On day one, God says those famous words, "Let there be light," and there is, and God sees the light, and it is good, God says. There was evening, there was morning, a first day. This is where it starts to get a little messy in our heads, where we need the refresher. How about day two? Does anybody remember what happens on day two of creation? It's like we know 1 and 6, and then there's some stuff in the middle there. So the second day, God separates the waters from above and the waters of below, the Mayim and the Shamayim. On day 3, land and vegetation appear. Day 4, those celestial lights, the sun, moon, and stars. Day 5, the first creepy crawling things, the swimming things, those that live in the air and in the waters. And finally, on the 6th day of creation, we get all the land animals, maybe dinosaurs too, who knows? And ultimately, the story of creation culminates with that of humanity. But it's actually a very ambiguous, interesting way that we're told God creates those first humans. Because the famous line in our Genesis 1 narrative says, God declares, "Let us make humans in our image." And the rabbis, of course, pounce all over that grammar and say, well, what's with the hour? There's only one God, right? Why hour? And of course, if you ask 2 rabbis, you'll get at least 3 opinions. So a room full of scholars in the Beit Midrash give us a whole variety of possible interpretations. The first, Rav Ami says in the Talmud, what's the hour? Let us make humans in our image. Well, Rav Ami said God took counsel with God's own heart. God was being self-reflective. We might even say using the royal we, but just referring to God's self. That's one explanation. Rabbi Joshua ben Levi says, no, God took counsel, what's the hour? With the heavens and the earth that were just created. God turns to the heavens and the earth and says, let's make those humans now. Some of the other rabbis suggest maybe it was the animals God was turning to in that moment. All of the fish and the birds and the crawling animals that had been created leading up to that moment. For after all, even though we like to think of ourselves as being so exceptional, we're animals. Let us make humans in our image, God says to the animals too. But Rashi, the great medieval scholar, drawing on the Midrash, says God was speaking to the angels in that moment. For our tradition teaches that just before the first humans were created, God created the ministering angels, those malachim that we actually sang about at the beginning of our Kabbalat Shabbat service that we invite in to bless us each Friday night, those divine messengers who we might imagine flutter around in the heavens or, as we often find, are right here amidst us on earth. And as the Midrash tells us, when God turns to these angels and says, let us create humans in our image, some of them are on board and others are not. Some of the angels actually protest, according to the Midrash. They say, no, don't create those humans. They're going to do terrible things. They're going to start fighting with each other. There will be war. They'll steal from one another. They'll tell lies. But then some of the other angels rebutted, well, some of them will, but some of them won't. Some of them will do righteous deeds. Some of them will pursue justice. Some of them will care for those who are in need and most vulnerable. And so the Midrash tells us the angels were fighting back and forth, those in favor, those against. It was a cacophony up there in the heavens until God eventually said, hey, guys, I already made him. Meet Adam. So here we are, we humans, created in God's image. And this is our challenge on Shabbat Breshit. It's to prove which of the angels right that we hope will really define our legacy as humanity. To use our divine likeness, those uniquely human qualities that we've been gifted, to bring light into the world and not more darkness. I want to mention just a few ways that I think our temple community is doing that, even just over these next few days. First of all, I know a number of you have seen, hopefully, the ads to participate in our ongoing postcarding efforts. Our social justice initiative is working very hard to make sure every voice, every vote counts in this country as we approach the midterm elections. It's one great way to let the good angels win, to step up and to try to make a difference, to try to make sure that every human is important and counted and has their voice heard in November. We've got 25 families who have signed up to join our community service, family small groups. We're kicking off on Sunday. We're going to be making sandwiches for a number of community kitchens, some cards for LT seniors, all kinds of hands-on projects. It's pretty awesome that we have dozens and dozens and dozens of families who want to give a couple hours on their afternoon to do a little good in the world. Those are just two things this week. But I invite you to take a moment to think about something you can do in this week ahead as we read Breshit, to be the kind of human that those angels that were rooting for us, to be the kind of human, the kind of mensch, person, as the Yiddish literally translates to, that we can be in the world. That is our charge. That is the gift to merit our place in this world. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be so, and may we do so. We turn to the concluding portion of our service. Aleinu L'Shabach can be found on page 586 at the bottom. We rise as our ark is open.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, la'teit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
Page 593 at the bottom. On the Shabbat, where light is first created, we read these words to introduce Kaddish. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down and gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a mere memory slowly fading into darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Shabbat, we especially call to mind those individuals for whom we kindle those yahrzeit candles, those flames in our community. And remember with reverence Paul Leviton, Esther Salzman, Gerald Gutterman, Bernard Fahlberg, Arthur Bleemer, Marshall Sperber, Yael Bruria Avizier, Julia Davies, Barbara Schwartz, Jacob Orans, Paul Stein, Rolita Torley, Barbara Corson, Sam Eisenberg, Howard Postmanter, William Rabinowitz, Minerva Markowitz, Raymond Hyman, Mike Leifer, George Merson, Maxine Motzkin, Alberto Kaufman, Alan D. Falber, Len Riefberg, Philip Nierenblatt, Shirley Buckner, George Sherman, Martin Reiger, Gail Tauber, Ina Marcus, Norman Bernstein, Blanche Oken, Laura Rosenberg, Lena Palet, Herbert Blau, Peter Noble, Ralph John Krensky, Beatrice G. Adler, and Joan Lipton. We add to their names and link to their memories those for whom we are observing Shloshim who've been laid to their eternal rest in the last 30 days. James Daniels, husband of Martha Gifford, father of Caitlin Daniels Israel, and Justin, brother of Molly, grandfather of 5. Emily Elkind, mother of Jane Elkin-Eny, David and Susan, sister of Mark Schwartz, grandmother of 8. Herbert Molis, husband of Ellen, father of Ron, Cindy, and Ken, grandfather of 10 and great-grandfather of 2 little ones. Dale Cohen, mother of Romy Kerwin and Gary, sister of Hillary, grandmother of 3. And if you are thinking of anyone saying Kaddish for someone whose name you didn't hear, I invite you to add that person's name at this time too. We affirm those enduring lights that continue to guide us, joining in these words of Kaddish, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yuruteh ve'amlech malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayed dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach leolam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha b'rechu. La'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of all those we hold dear be a blessing. You may be seated. Jeff Wang, a member of our Board of Trustees Executive Committee.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom. As Rabbi Frankel said, I'm Jeff Wang. I'm the temple. The temple's vice president. Thank you to our musicians tonight. To Sophie and to Alex, congratulations to both of you. Mazel tov to you and your families. We all look forward to learning from you tomorrow. It's a good portion, I would know, because 33 years ago today, according to my parents who emailed me about it this morning, it was my portion and my bar mitzvah. I know I look much older, but I don't remember my drosh, but I've read yours, and I hope it was half as good as what you guys have said. So congratulations, enjoy it, you'll be great. There's always, as always, a lot going on here. All of it's on the website. I just want to highlight one thing that's coming up next weekend, which is the scholar in residence, Professor Dara Horn, author of People Love Dead Jews. She went with interesting title. So Friday at 6:30, there's a dinner to learn why people love dead Jews. And then Saturday at 9 a.m., Torah teaching with Professor Horn. And Saturday at 6:30 p.m., dinner dialogue with Professor Horn again. So lots of opportunities to hear her speak. I hope you'll come join us for those. And on the Saturday at 6:30 p.m. dinner dialogue, apparently, according to our website, free books for all who attend. So Jews love free books. That's her next book. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom.
Well, let's make this point clear. To get a free book, you have to be a dead Jew. You see, so there's a catch here. There's a catch. I'm kidding. All you folks at home, she told me to say that. We do have actually free books for everybody who comes to the event. Dara Horn is perhaps the most well-known American Jewish novelist. Won the National Jewish Book Award a couple times, nominated for other awards in the secular or greater world, and I think is probably the most cutting-edge Jewish thinker, professor at Princeton, doctorate in 2 different things, comparative literature, and she's pretty dynamic and spectacular. So if you're around next Friday night, Shabbat morning, Saturday night, don't miss it.
The cantor's losing her mind about getting to meet her, so you should come too.
We're on the bottom of 657 if you want the. Just told her I'd announce the page number. I can stand there. Page 657 at the end, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. We rise affirming our hope in peace.
Wait, he's so excited. Me too. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shabbat Shalom.